Hello everyone, I'm Alicia and welcome to my Beautiful Nights channel. For this tutorial, I'm going to show you guys how to make these really cute bracelets using crystal chain. Now I got this crystal chain from BB Crafts. I showed it in the previous haul, and I've been using the materials from the hauls in my tutorials, and I noticed that some of the things I've used in my tutorials have already sold out in their store. So if you're watching this tutorial maybe a year from now and BB Craft no longer has the 2.6mm crystal chain in stock, you can go up in the size of the chain. So I saw that BB Craft carries, I think it's a 3 and a 4mm chain. If you want, you can get a bigger chain, and some of you might even feel more comfortable using a thicker chain. So if you do use the 3mm or 4mm chain, you will have to increase the size of your beads. So I am using 8 seed beads with the 2.6mm chain, and if you're doing a 3mm or 4mm chain, you will have to increase to a 6 seed bead or even a 4mm bead. And you do kind of want to stay with a round or maybe even a rondelle shape for this project. Alright, so it's going to be a lot of fun to make this. I'm very excited. Let's get started. Here is the list of materials you will need to make these bracelets. You will need S-long cord, and I gotta tell you guys, I have looked all over the place to try and find the best prices on this cord. If you go to Hobby Lobby, it's going to be $18 for just 4 rolls. It's so expensive. And yeah, you could use a coupon, but still, you might not like all the colors that are in the pack, which was my problem. So I looked all over online, and I looked at the most popular beading stores, and they were all so overpriced. The going rate for 1 roll is $4, which to me seems expensive. So I actually ended up finding on one of my favorite beading sites at rockingbeads.com, I found the S-long cord for $2.70 a roll. I don't know if it was on sale or not at the time, but you can go there and check. But I got all of these colors from there, and I also got these colors too. And for the longest time I only had this black that I was working with, and then I bought these here. I think I got them on Amazon. I think it was like 15 bucks. But I got a much better deal at Rockin' Beads, and I love all the colors I got. They're really pretty. So in the past, I have used this S-long cord to make these bracelets, these tetrad bracelets. Some of you might not have even seen this tutorial, but this was a really awesome tutorial. I love these bracelets so much. They are probably one of my most favorite bracelets that I've ever designed to date. They're so cool. So you're going to need S-long cord, right? And if you don't have it, that's a great place to get it, rockandbeads.com. You're going to need to cut 2 pieces, and again, you want the size text 210. You will want 1 piece to be 6 foot long. That will be your knotting cord. And your second piece, you will want to cut that 2 feet long. That's going to be the center cord that we're doing all the knotting on, and our chain will be laying on that cord. You're also going to need the crystal chain, and the size I'm using is 2.6mm. I will leave a link for this down there in the description bar. This one here has the AB finish on it, so it's like extra sparkly and so beautiful. I love it so much. It's gorgeous. So 2.6mm crystal chain. I'll leave a link down there. You're also going to need 8 seed beads, and you can use all different brands. This one here I got from beadshop.com. I love it so much. Do you see how the hole has that AB finish on it? It's matte. Well, you can't really tell that it has that in this bracelet, but if you turn it to the side, you could see it. But it's really pretty. I love these, and they were not cheap. They were a little pricey. So I've used different kinds. This one here, I have 8 Toho seed beads. So you can see they're kind of more squarish looking than these. These are check. And in this one here, I want to say that these are 7 seed beads. The size is not on the tube. I found these at Tuesday Morning. They are just a little bit bigger than the other ones. You see that? But they still managed to work. Now I did try this with 6 seed beads, and it was too tight. So you do have to stay with a smaller size if you're using this size chain here. You're also going to need a button. I'm using a cut button. You don't have to use a cut button. This one here, I did a check flower button bead. It turned out great. I do like to stay a dime sized button, and also 2 holes seems to be best. So that's my tips for that. And you're also going to need something to tie this bracelet on. It has to be attached to something. So I liked using this here. This is a beadalon tying station. It worked great. I got this online. I think I got it on Amazon. And I just put my bracelet on this lanyard clip here. And I attached it to this and it worked great. I'll show you how to do that. Now if you don't have that and you already have my homemade loom that I designed, you can use this too. This will probably work the same, but I do prefer the tying station for this project because it just seems faster with the clamps that it has on it. But this is another alternative. You can use the loom if you already have this made. So this is a list of materials, and I will put everything down there in the description bar so you can see everything you need. I forgot to mention you will need a lighter. This is a nylon cord, so it melts. So after you cut the cord, you want to melt the end of it. It will ball up, and I just melt it so that it will pass through my beads. So see there how it has a little point on it. And I melt all the ends because this cord is twisted, so it will unravel if you don't melt it. Okay, so I already went ahead and I cut my cord and I put it through my button. Now here is the secret, so listen up. So I told you guys when I was filming the haul that I was having some troubles with this bracelet. Well, this is what happened. So I cut my 6 foot of cord for knotting, 2 foot for the center cord, right? And when I went to do the knotting, and by the time I got all the way down here, I noticed that my knotting cord on one side was 5 inches longer than my other cord. So that really confused me. So I thought maybe I did it wrong, so I made a second bracelet. This was actually, let's see. This one I made first, and I noticed it happening. So I made this one next, and it happened again. So I knew that it was something to do with the crystal chain. So I ended up realizing that when you pass over the crystal chain on the top of the bracelet, it shrinks the cord on one side. So to fix this, what we're going to do is make the right knotting cord 5 inches longer. It's important to tie the first knot with the right cord because the right cord stays on top of the bracelet and it's shrinking going over the crystal chain. So that's what I did. I put my cord through here. I made sure that my 2 foot cord is even. So you can see here these two ends, that's my 2 foot cord. Those are even. So then my long 6 foot cord, I made sure that my one cord was 5 inches longer than my other cord. So now we're going to attach this to our tying station. Okay, so I'm just going to put this lanyard clip onto my cords, and if you don't have a lanyard clip, you can use a safety pin. That's what it's called. That also works. I've done that before. So see how it goes just like that? And then I put this onto my bolt on my tying station, and again, if you don't have a tying station, you would put this onto that hook right there that's on my homemade loom. So I'm going to put this on here, and I gotta see which cord is longer. I have to make sure that's on the right side. Very important, because if I don't, you're gonna have to take this apart, and you don't want to do that. So this cord here is the longest, so it has to be on this side. Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and put my wing nut back on. Tighten that down. So this is my right cord. I have to find my 2 cords that are short. These here. Okay, so this is my other tying cord. So here's the 2 that are short. I'm going to loosen this nut up, and then I'm going to put it between these 2 plates right here. Pull these cords tight. I put that in there, tighten that down. So I want to show you guys a little trick on how to get your cords just right. So we already have our 2 2-foot cord, okay, tied down. It's not going anywhere. It's perfectly even. So to adjust our other cord so it's 5 inches long on the right side, I just use my awl and I lift that cord up, okay, and then I come over here to my ruler, and I need to make sure that I have my right cord. So let's see here. So this is my right cord, okay. So this cord needs to be 5 inches longer, the right side, than my left cord. So this one needs to be here, and my left cord needs to be here. So I'm going to hold it just like this between my fingers, okay? I'm going to pull this out, grab this loop here in my fingers, and I'm just adjusting it so it's correct, okay? And then I'm going to pull this down, pull it snug, and then I'm going to come back and measure. Well, first I need to grab both sides like this, okay? Slide my hand down to the end of my short cord, and then I'm going to measure and make sure that I have my 5-inch cord, and I do. Now we're ready to start knotting. So I'm just going to be doing basic square knots with my cord, and you can see how close I have my knots there to my button. I'm going to try to do that again. I like it like that. And I'm going to start with the right cord because the right cord's 5 inches longer. This is the cord that shrinks because it's on top of the bracelet going over the crystals. And if you've ever done macrame square knots with 2 different colors of cords, and you would see that one color stays in the top and the other color stays in the bottom. It's pretty cool. So taking my right cord, going over top of the middle, taking the left cord, going over the right underneath the 2 middle, and coming up through this hole. We're going to count this as our first knot. And I like to take it off of here and get that knot as close to my button as I can, because I'd like to have it looking really nice. So just pull that like that. The lanyard clip does make it come down further, so I try to just push that up there. Okay, and then I can put this back on and we can continue. I'll go ahead and tie my second knot. I won't put that wing knot on yet, and make sure it's right. So I'm going to go left over top of my center cords, right over my left cord under the 2 center, and through this hole here, and I pull that knot up. And one more time I will take this off. Okay, pull this tight, and it's perfect. You see how close it is? Looks really nice. So now I'm going to pull this up and put this back. Okay, back to knotting. I did the left cord last, so now I'm going to go back to the right again. So right over the 2 center cords, left over the right cord, underneath these 2 and through the loop. Pull it up, that's my 3rd knot. And now left over the 2 center, right over the left, and underneath these 2 and through this loop. I do like to take this sponge thing that actually goes underneath here for putting your button in between, and I like to put it like this in this hole. I don't think you're supposed to do this, but I found out that it makes it a lot easier. It lifts the cords up higher so you can tie knots better. Okay, it looks like the last knot I did was the left, so now I'm going to do the right. So right goes over my 2 center, and then just like this, and left goes over the right, and then left goes under the 2 and through this loop. Okay, pull that up, and now left goes over the 2 in the center, right goes over left, and then through the loop. Pull it tight. I have just 2 knots left over, so I'm going to do right over the center, left over the right cord, under the 2 center, and through this loop. This is my 7th knot. Pull that tight. And now left goes over the 2 center, and then right goes over left, under the 2 center, and through this loop. Pull this up and pull it tight. Okay, so now we have to put our seed beads on, and what I like to do, instead of doing 1 seed bead at a time, pick them up on a side, what I do is I take and put all the seed beads on, and I tie a little overhand knot at the end, not one that's permanent, just a loose one that I can pick open later. But what we're going to do is just pre-string our seed beads, so we don't have to put them on as we go. I found it to be a lot easier, so I'm going to go ahead and pre-string mine. And by the way, I think the bracelet I'm making is a 7.5 inch, and I have, let's see, looking at my notes, I think I have 47 8/0 seed beads on each string, so that's how much I'm stringing. And so I just wanted to show you, I went ahead, I put 47 seed beads onto my 1 strand, and I just did an overhand knot, and my seed beads can't go over. I didn't tie the knot very tight because I will pick it open and get that knot out once we use up all of our seed beads. So I just went ahead and put 47 on this side too. And an overhand knot, just in case you didn't know, you'll go like this, make a loop, okay, like that. You put the end through the loop, and you pull it down just like that. And again, I don't pull it tight, I go just like that, okay, because we will pick that open and get that knot out. So now we're going to work with the crystal chain. I do want to let you guys know that I am a perfectionist, and I did go through the crystal chain, and I made sure I did about 9 inches just to make sure that all of them were in there right and that all of the prongs were pressed down. And there was 1 or 2 that were like in there sideways, so I fixed that, and now it's perfect and we're ready to go. So this tying station, I really like it because I can put the chain on here like this and, you know, work on it. I don't recommend cutting this off and working on it. I actually recommend that you leave it on the spool. It's easier this way because the chain is not flopping all over the place. This is holding it still on the spool. Once you get this anchored here at the top, it's really nice to work with it like this. So you can either sit it like this, or you can just go like that and put it over here. When I got closer to the end, I did have to put my chain spool on here like this. So I think I'm actually just gonna put it on here like this for now. And this sponge thing did also help keep the chain in place. So I'm just gonna set up my work area and I'll be back. So I already slid down 2 beads, and now I'm going to tie my first knot, and the last knot I tied was the left one. So I'm going to do right over the 2 center cords, left over the right cord, underneath the 2 center, and through this loop. And I'm not going to pull this knot tight all the way, I'm just tying it loosely so I can get my chain in here. So I'm going to use tweezers to put my chain in because my fingernails are getting in the way. So I hold the chain like this, so there's a gap here. I'm going to hold it at the second gap like this, and my cord is going to go over top of the first gap. So I just go like that, pull this tight. Okay, and I need to put my chain on top of my sponge thingy. Pull this tight. Now I'm going to do the left knot, so left goes over the center cord. Okay, right goes over left, under the 2 center, and through this loop. So I tie 2 knots in between each crystal, and see how it loosens up a little bit there? So I just pull that tight, and then I can bring this knot up It's normal for it to go loose like that on us because it's kind of a silky cord. This nylon. Do the second knot there, and it tightens it all up. Okay, so now I'm going to do my next row. So I have to drop 2 beads down, one on each side, just like that. It's kind of hard to film this with how my tripod is. So I'm going to put the right cord over the center and over the chain. Left goes over the right cord underneath the 2 center and then through this loop. Okay, and then I have to pick this cord up and move it into the next gap right here. And I hope that you guys can see this. I'm having a hard time staying in frame. Okay, so pull that tight. Okay, and now I'm going to do my next knot, which is left. So left goes over the 2 center, right goes over left and through the hole. Pull this tight, put that knot where the other one was, and now we have this. It's already looking good. So I'm going to zoom out and show you. Do you see how the spool sitting like this is keeping my chain straight? If I were to cut the chain, it would be all over the place like spaghetti. It would be really annoying. Okay, so I tied 2 knots, right? It's a bad memory. Okay, 2 knots. Now I'm going to slide down more beads. So again, 1 on each side. I'm going to do my right side first. Right goes over the center, left goes over my right cord, and under the center too, and through the loop. Okay, and I have to make sure that this knot fits into the next gap, just like that. Pull that tight. And now left. Left goes over top of the center, right goes over the left cord, underneath and through the loop. Okay, again, you can tighten that up and then bring down that knot there and pull it all tight. Okay, that's 2 knots. Now we need more beads again. And again, I'll show you what it looks like. It's very pretty. I love coral and turquoise together. Okay, again, when you go to start another row, you have to do the right first. So right goes over the center, left goes over right, underneath the center and through this loop here. And right here. In that gap, pull it tight. Now left. Left goes over the center, right goes over left, underneath the center, and through this hole. Pull this tight. So I do want to let you guys know, I also thought about doing this with ball chain. I think this can be done with ball chain. It would be just like the crystal chain. You would just have to use the bigger ball chain. You know how there's the thinner ball chain that's on like the ceiling fan cords? I think that's too thin. You would need the bigger stuff, which is like 3mm ball, I want to say. It's bigger. It would be easier to work with. Okay, so there's my 2 knots. I'm starting over again. So that means I have to drop down my beads. So 1 on each side. And then I put the right cord over top of the center cord. The left goes over the right. Slide my sponge down. And then my left goes through this hole here. Bring the knot up. I'm so far away from this right now. I can barely see what I'm doing. Okay, that's right. Now left goes over top, and the right goes over left, and then right goes underneath the center and through the loop. And again, I like to pull this tight and then move that one up. Okay, we need another bead again, one on each side. So right goes over first, left goes over right, underneath the center two, and through this loop. Bring this up into the next gap right here, pull that tight, and now I do left. Left goes over the top, right goes over the left cord, underneath the center two, and through the loop. Pull this tight and bring up the second knot, pull that tight, and now slide a bead down on each side. So I think I'm going to do this maybe 2 more times with you guys. It's pretty simple. Okay, right goes over the two center, left goes over right, and then underneath the center and through this loop here. And then I bring this knot up, pull that tight. Now left goes over the center, right goes over left, underneath the two center, and through this loop. Pull this tight, pull that tight. It's so pretty. I really love it. Okay, now we're going to slide a bead down on each side. And by the way, if for some reason you have to stop doing this, maybe you have to go answer the phone and you come back and you don't know if you did 1 or 2 knots in between, all you have to do is flip this over and you can see on the back how many knots you've done. So I can see back here I have 2 knots in between each one. So that's how you could tell where you left off. Alrighty. One more time here. Slide my beads down. Right's going over the center. Left is going over right, underneath the center, and through this loop. Bring this up, pull it tight, and now I'm going to do the left cord. So left is going to go over the center, right is going over left, under the center, and through this loop. And pull this down and pull it tight. Okay, so there we go. So you're just going to keep going doing this until you have enough for a bracelet. And like I said, I have, I think it's 47 crystals I counted in mine. And I have a bead on each side, so there's 47 beads on one side and 47 on the other side. So to save me time, I went over to this bracelet and I'm going to show you how to finish this one. Now I already trimmed off my chain and I just went to 47 crystals and I trimmed it at my 47th one, and now I have my last 2 beads that I have to put on, and I will do the knotting. Here, I'll show you on this one. I'm going to be doing this knotting again so it matches the beginning, and then I'm going to show you how to do this fancy little closure that I created. Okay, so when you trim off your chain, you're just going to trim it off with your wire cutters. That's what I used. And now I'm just going to do 8 knots. And by the way, this is the second bracelet that I made, so my right side is shorter on this. When I did add 5 inches to the other side, both ends were even, so it was perfect. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this one. So I'm just going to slide this down here, my sponge. I'm going to zoom in. I might fast forward through this because I've already showed you guys how to do this knot. It's the same knot. Left under, right over, through the hole there. Okay, I think I might fast forward this. Now we're going to do the buttonhole. So what I did is I took my bracelet off my loom, just the bottom, and I separated the two cords that were underneath here, and I put 4 8/0 seed beads on each side, and now I'm going to attach it back to the loom. Okay, so the last knot that we tied was the left knot. So if you look, this cord here, the right cord, is actually pointing down. Well, it's hard to see from your angle, but this one's pointing down and the left cord is pointing up. So this cord needs to go over top of this cord and through this loop. Okay, so I do that. So I went over. Now I'm going to go under. So I'm going to go under through here and through this hole. Pull that up. Then I'm going to slide a bead up. Now the last time I went under, so I'm going to go over top of the cord and then through the loop. Pull that up, pull it tight. Now I'm going to go under. So we're taking turns here. Pull that tight. Slide this bead up. I have to go over through the loop. I'm going to go under through the loop. Slide the next bead up. Last time we went under, so I have to go over the cord through the loop. I'm going to go under and through the loop, slide up my last bead. I have to go over and now I'm going to go under and through the loop. So you could see how short this cord is. I'm still able to tie my knots with it, but when I went ahead and made the right side longer, it was so much easier to do this because my cord was the same length on both sides and it just went so much better. But I am able to work with very short cords. Some of you might like to work with longer cords. I do too, but I just had to make it work because I didn't want to do this over again. So now I'm going to do this side. So remember, this cord here is poking up, so I need it to go under. So the knot's going to be swapping this time. So it's going to go underneath and through the loop. Pull that up. Now we're going to go over and through the loop. Pull that up. Slide a bead up. Pull that tight. I have to go, I went over, I have to go under this time, into the loop, pull that bead up, pull that tight. Now I'm going over, slide the bead up, going underneath, to go through the loop, pull that tight. Okay, I went under, I have to go over, pull that up. Oops, I'm getting on a frame there. I'm going to slide up my bead. I'm going underneath, through the loop, pull that tight. I have to go over through the loop, slide up my last bead. Last knot I did was over, so now I'm going to go under through the loop, that tight, and I went under, so now it's over. Okay, so now we have this. Now I have to tie 2 square knots right here, so I'm probably going to fast forward through this because it's the same knot I've been doing this whole time to save time. Of course it will be easier for you guys to do this because your cords will be the same length. Much longer than mine. And now we're going to tie a knot, and of course yours is going to be easier to tie because you have 5 inches extra of cord on one side, so you don't have to deal with one that's shorter like I do. But basically you want to make a loop like this, and you want to pass all of these cords through it, and I think I'm going to use my tweezers for this. Yes, my trusty tweezers, they save me every time. Alright. Just slowly bring that knot down and pull one of these cords tight at a time. Okay, so I just go through. First I pull them a little bit, and then I come back a second time and I pull them harder. You can even do it a third time if you want. So make sure all of these are tight. And then what we're going to do is put a seed bead onto each end, make a knot at the end, and then melt the ends so it looks like this. It's kind of like a funky little beaded tassel at the end. I like doing that. I feel like it's more decorative than just cutting it off and leaving cord there. Which both ways look fine, but I do like it like this too. So I went ahead and I put one bead on, sliding it down, and I'm going to do an overhand knot, just like this. Okay. I'm going to use my awl, and you know what, I did not put my tweezers or my awl on the material list. I don't know what's wrong with me. But I will put it below the video. So see how I just slid that down? Now I screwed up, I made my loop too big, but I can reopen it there. And what I'm going to do is take and pass the cord back through the loop, just like that. So I'm actually kind of making a doubled knot, and it's making it so it's big, it's a big knot, so that my seed bead can't go over top of the knot. Okay, so then I just push my knot down like that, so it's a little ball there. Pull this tight. Okay, now my bead, I don't know, I haven't had them slid over before, but what we're going to do is we're going to cut this and then burn it with the lighter, and it will make it even bigger so our bead doesn't go over. Where is my lighter? There it is. Okay, so let's see here. I'll leave maybe about a ½ inch of cord to melt. Burn this down, blow it out. I like to push it like this against the lighter, which makes it connect more to itself because it's like melting away from itself, if that makes any sense. Okay, getting closer. Almost there, so I'm going to melt it now to the knot. I've done this before, and I just like bond it to itself. Okay, so that bead is not gonna go over that knot, and mine actually turned out a little big, and if you want, you can gently come in here and just trim it away just a little bit to make it look better if yours is huge like mine. But it's always better to cut more cord, because if you don't cut enough and you cut it too short, then you go to burn that down, you might not have a big enough ball and your bead might come off, or you might end up burning your knot. So I'm going to go ahead and do the other 3 and we'll be all done. And I'm going to do it off camera because it takes time. You just kind of rewind that part there. It's pretty easy. This is it. I hope you enjoyed this tutorial. Please like this video, leave me a comment, subscribe if you want to see more of my videos, and don't forget to click the bell button so you get notified when I upload new videos, and like me on Facebook. And don't forget to share pictures of the jewelry you've made from my videos on my Facebook page, and follow me on Pinterest. Thanks for watching.